Hi there, welcome to Floating in Books. Today's video is going to be an overview of 100 questions about my music tastes. Welcome back to the channel. I really hope you enjoy watching today's video. I was hoping to do a wrap-up for you, but I have yet not managed to finish enough books for me to chat about with you, so we're gonna have to push the wrap-up back another week or two, I'm afraid. I've just been exhausted and it's, the dead of winter, work is busy, I barely have time to think, let alone read, so that's why that is not necessarily working out for me, but I'll do a wrap up when time goes in. But I saw my friend Erica Conger doing this video about 100 questions. It's a tag all about music, and I was like, I might as well do that because that's a fun video to insert here. I've done a couple of other videos on this channel in the past where I've talked about music, some of my favorite artists and stuff. I've not had a look at any of these questions beforehand, so I have not decided what my answers are per se, and that's why I have 100 questions to get to, so let me just get started because else this is going to be a very long video. We have question number 1, my favorite genre of music. And this is already like a multitude of things. I just saw my Spotify Wrapped, but my Spotify Wrapped isn't very indicative of what I like listening to. However, my tastes and listening habits have very much changed ever since COVID hit. You can see my little Google guy here. So I definitely use my Spotify more now than I used to, but what I tend to do is I just play a playlist, and in the meantime I'm doing other things. So for me, music has become more of a curtain in the background, more like decoration than me actively listening to things. I'm not sure if that's changed for anybody else. So when it comes to genres, I've just if you look at my Spotify Wrapped, it's something like Latin lo-fi. That's my most listened to genre on there, but it's definitely these chilled out, more sometimes I go a little bit more jazzy, sometimes it's a little bit more of a classical music vibe, sometimes it has a bit more of a beat and it has this electronic vibe to it, then I go into the lo-fi vibe. But for the most part, the things I actively seek out and that I buy CDs and records for, and the kind of concerts I like going to, I do tend to be more of a rock, shoegaze, psychedelic kind of music lover on the one hand, and on the other hand, I like a good deal of R&B. And I've been dancing my entire life, so that also influences my tastes. I mean, my most listened to song in 2023 is Back on 74 or Back by 74 by Jungle, but I've been listening to Jungle for absolutely years. I saw them live back when they had their first album out. But yeah, those kind of things, so dancey things, and I have some techno that I like listening to as well. It goes all over the place, and it really depends on my mood, what I like listening to. I'm a mood listener, you could say. The last full album you bought. Well, I haven't bought it yet because I thought I already did, and then it turned out I didn't. But the new Jungle album, that's the one I still really want to get. And that's also been sort of the reason why my music taste has changed a little bit, or my music habits have been changing, because a lot of the times the albums that I see lying about and the artists that are being hyped up are things I already know. I already have all the albums by them that they've released previously. I will be seeing Idols live in March. I hope, anyways. I did buy myself a ticket, so fingers crossed I can also go by the time that concert happens. And I already have a couple of their albums, so I also feel a lot of the things that I'm still listening to are things that I was listening to 5-6 years ago, and nothing that's truly new necessarily stands out to me anymore. So I'm sort of I've reached this point of saturation, you could say. But before that, the last album I bought, I honestly can't remember, because that's another thing. Ever since the whole shenanigans started in 2020, I just haven't really been buying a lot of music because I've been more into Spotify. Can I play an instrument? No, I can do basic guitar chords, and I can do basic things on a piano. But I've never taken classes beyond what we had to do in school, but I did sing in a choir when I was a kid, so I can kind of sing. I haven't really done it in a while, so I'm very unpracticed, but I'm sort of like, if it comes like to musically things, then I could be a singer, but I'm more of a dancer than I am a singer, so. Favorite live performance? Oh, I really wouldn't know because I've been to so many shows. I mean, I think the most memorable, even though I barely remember anything because I was so young, but the one that impresses everyone is that I saw Michael Jackson when I was 12 years old, and it was my first concert ever. So that was definitely like very impressive, but I don't really remember anything about the show itself. Other than that, I think Vampire Weekend. I saw them, I think, November of 2019. I think that's when I saw them, and they did everything that I wanted them to play, and it was so much fun. I saw Future Islands last September, and they were great as well. So I have a lot of live performances. I really, really enjoy going to live performances, and it's sort of like my aim every year to try and go to a different live performance once a month. I live in a fairly large city. We have a pretty active music scene, and I just like to pick and choose some like unknown bands that I've never heard of before. And if the music sounds okay, if I listen to it on YouTube, I might just buy myself a ticket. That's usually how I do it. The first band you ever liked? Backstreet Boys. Anybody who's been listening or following me for a while knows this about me. Backstreet Boys was like my be-all and end-all for a good 13 years. Any band merchandise? Yes. I don't think I've ever filmed it. I don't think I did, but I have like 2 big plastic crates filled with all of my Backstreet Boys stuff. Save for their albums. Like their albums are, you can't really see, but I have my music albums all right here. I have everything on cassette. I was a collector, you guys. I was. My least favorite band. Oh, I don't have least favorite bands. Like, I always find it so denigrating when people try to hate on anybody else's music tastes. I mean, you know, there are like the things like Creed and Nickelback that a lot of music enthusiasts usually frown upon if you like it. But if it's catchy and you like listening to it, then why not? I mean, taste is something that you can very easily discuss and debate about what is bad, what is good, and what is right. And I don't think I've ever come across something that I thought was necessarily bad. Like, I don't really have a least favorite band at all. The last song I listened to, let me find my Spotify, because then I can let you know. Yeah, I already watched it. Oh, Back on 74 by Jungle is the last thing I listened to, because after I looked into my Spotify Wrapped, I was like, oh yeah, that song. And then on my Samsung Music app, which is where I keep, like, I have a bunch of music that isn't on Spotify. I'm not trying to be weird, it's just historically it was just never really put on there. But Petition by Tennis is the last thing I listened to on my other app. Been to a concert? Yes, like I just mentioned, I go to concerts regularly, or at least try to go. My most recent concert was Future Islands. I should have gone to a concert by Personal Trainer, a small Dutch indie group. They have this like punky vibe, which I really wanted to see, but I wasn't feeling well that day, so I decided not to go. Would you ever be in a band? I don't think I've ever tried. I mean, I don't really play any instruments, so I would have to be a singer, and I don't see myself as good enough as a singer to be part of a band, so I guess it would be a no. Loud or quiet music? Both, really. I mean, if I go out and I want to go to a concert, or if I do my Lindy Hop thing and there's a really nice jazz band, I want it to be loud. Or if it's like a techno thing, I want to turn up the volume. But I also really, really enjoy the like not so classical playlist on my Spotify and like quiet jazz in the background stuff. So I really do like both equally. Favorite band member? Do I really have to pick? Like, there are so many bands out there. Like, what band do you want me to choose from? Because my first initial reaction is Backstreet Boys, and that would be Nick Carter. Because if you are my age, you know. We all had a favorite in those days. But it's not as if I, like, say, like, oh yeah, that's, like, the best guitar player, or I don't really... Usually I don't even know who's in the bands I listen to. I really don't. Song you know all the words to. Oh, how many do you want? I mean, back when I used to be a little bit more serious about the singing thing, I would learn lyrics by heart all the time. And I'm from a family where we listened to the radio and did those kind of things all the time as well. So I know plenty of songs. We actually did some karaoke with some colleagues like a couple of weeks ago, and everybody afterwards was like, "You know a bunch of songs." I was like, I know. So it's just the fact that I've listened to music so much is definitely part of that. Favorite lyrics. Ooh, I used to have this thing, you remember in the MySpace days where we would like post like lyrics on our pages, and we would be like all mysterious about what it meant. I really think I'm not even sure why, but Mesh 29, Over the Barricades, is like one of my favorite songs lyrically. I really like their lyrics, but it's a very sad song. That's really good. Others, I'm not really sure. I would just go with Mesh 29, Over the Barricade. Number of songs on your phone. Oh my. Do you have a minute? Because I know I can see that somewhere. I know that my base playlist that I have on here is at least 2,000 songs. And then there are albums on here as well that I listen to. And then I have a playlist with songs I like to dance to. I have a playlist with like techno trance stuff on here. And then I have, and then I have 2 playlists that are about 100 songs each with like my all-time favorite kind of things. Then I have a folder on here with new stuff to listen to, which I desperately need to update. So, yeah, I think there's a good 5,000 songs on my phone. I'm a bit of a maximalist when it comes to music. Have I ever written a song? No, I haven't. Most recent band or artist you got into? Like I mentioned, I haven't really gotten into a band or artist for a while. And I've just been trying to make sure that I see bands that I've really liked for a while if they come to the Netherlands. So I finally got to see the Slow Show earlier this year. I went to see Tram House. I like them, but they haven't really released an album yet, so I'm still waiting for them. They're also a Rotterdam band, by the way, so I think it would be Tram House. I really like their stuff. Favorite song title. So I'm not even sure why, but for this question, favorite song title, I'm just really thinking of all of those emo songs I listen to, like, the Fall Out Boy stuff, which is like these really long sentences, which, I'm like, I don't know why I think of those things, but yeah, that's my first hunch. I don't really have a favorite song title, I think. A song you can dance to. How many do you want? Again, I have a folder with like 500 songs that I like dancing to from time to time. Because I have been dancing my entire life, so I did jazz, musical, and hip-hop for years. And then I switched to the vernacular jazz Lindy hop scene a few years ago when I moved to Rotterdam. So I really enjoy dancing to jazz music, but I also really like dancing to popular music. And I just have like a list of my favorites. And one song that always gets me going that's recently come out is the Back on 74 thing from Jungle. It went all over TikTok last year, but it's like one of my favorite things to dance to. First band member crush, of course, Nick Carter from Backstreet Boys. Because my first song that I ever downloaded onto my phone, ooh, that's been a while. I just have so many songs on here, I really don't remember. Would I ever write fan fiction about any bands? No, I did read a lot when I was younger, but I've never actually done that. What song motivates you? I actually have I have a pretty good grasp on songs that I know from going to the gym. I like to doing these group classes, and there's always a couple of songs from those lessons that I really enjoy. So what is a song that really motivates me? I don't really use music to motivate myself to do anything. I play music to get through tasks and stuff throughout the day, but I don't really use it to motivate me. What time in your life have you been the most interested in music? I've been interested in music most of my life. I don't remember a time not being interested in music. It's only, like I mentioned at the start, it's only like become less in recent years because I just don't have the time, and I like what I like, and I was really struggling finding things that sounded like something I hadn't heard before. So that's why I've only fallen off of the bandwagon like the past 2 or 3 years, but from like my early teens up until like my mid-30s, I was an avid music listener for sure. My favorite music video, oh, there are so many. Anything by OK Go? I mean, they're always so creative. Like the guys with the treadmills, that's what they're known for, but all of their videos ever since have been super, super creative and great. So, OK Go for sure. Favorite song written for a movie? Ooh. I don't really, like, I just listen to things. Like I mentioned, I never really know. Like, I usually find out, like, years later who wrote a song. So I just listen to things. I'm not really interested in, like, who's behind it or why something was made. So I don't really have a favorite song that was written for a movie. I don't really engage with music that way. How often do you listen to music? Like I mentioned, I used to listen to music every single day without exception. And now it's definitely gotten a little bit less. On work days, I usually don't have time unless I walk into work. Then I tend to listen to music on my earbuds when I walk. But at work, it's usually quite difficult because there's like too many people wanting to ask questions, or I'm teaching, which you literally can't. But on weekends, I listen to music every single day, and I listen to it for a few hours. Like I said, it's mainly in the background when I'm like reading or if I'm like doing chores. Like I also use it as a way to do something else than like looking at my phone or looking at like watching TV. So it's a way for me to do something else and not use a screen. Favorite guitarist? Ooh, there are so many good ones. I do think though, this is a very difficult one. Because I'm thinking of all of the obvious ones, but I know for sure that I like some other things as well. Because, you know, is it like then about like guitar solos or like the guitar player that just really does all of the heavy lifting in the band? You know what I mean? Like guitar players can have different roles that they play within the band. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm really not that sure. I don't really listen to music that way. Current band member crush? I don't have one. Do your friends have the same musical taste? Yes and no. I tend to have friends that tap into different music tastes. But I have friends who I go to these concerts with, and friends that I go to these concerts with, and friends that I go to these festivals with. So it kind of goes all over the place. How do you discover new bands? Do you have a minute? So far, as I mentioned, I haven't really gotten into anything super new because a lot of the places where I used to get new music are either shutting down, or they have shut down in recent years, or they are also struggling, or, you know, the way I've come across new music with the rise of Spotify. And Spotify is, like, by the way, the worst place to find new music because the algorithms are aimed at giving you the things you already like, and they're not aimed at predicting based on what you like to give you new recommendations. I've actually gotten recommendations from Spotify when I first started to become more active on the platform, where they tell me like, hey, you might want to listen to this artist. And it was a song I had already downloaded 2 years prior. So it was already part of my music arsenal. So it wasn't really quite new to me. But I've always been into like the indie music lists. So one of them is Burp, BIRP.FM. I think that's still their website. And like I've mentioned, I just don't really have time to sift through the lists, because what I would used to do is that I had these lists like Burp and the indie rock playlist and a couple of other ones that every couple of months or every month I would check them out. I would check out their websites. I would download everything. And then every 3 to 4 months, I would sit down for an evening and I would scroll through all of these new songs and keep the things that really stood out to me, put them in my new folder on my my Samsung Music app. And then I would start listening to things and things would stick. And then after, like, once I was ready to select new music, I would first go through the new music list, delete anything that I actually didn't like, and then the new stuff became part of my general listening thing. And then once a year, I would go through the general list and take out the things I didn't like. I would store everything in alphabetical order, and every once in a while I would delete the whole thing, and I would go back to my alphabetical folder list and compile a new one. So it was definitely a system, and I did that for years. Like, I did that for like close to 15 years, from like 2006 until like 2 or 3 years ago. I would do this all the time, but I don't have time anymore to do this. A song that always makes you cry. I don't really cry to songs unless it's like part of a movie. So, but yeah, there's plenty of sad songs around, and you know, at the right moment, at the right time, it definitely does. I instantly have to think of something that I already know from Backstreet Boys. That was like a song when I was going through like a bit of a rough patch. That was my cry song. Favorite lead singer. Ooh. Favorite lead singer. Tom York from Radiohead? That's the first thing that pops into my head. Do you fall listening to music? I do sometimes. If I have especially if I'm going through a period in time where I can't really sleep, I tend to listen to music, but I listen to music to fall asleep to lists on Spotify, so not like rock bands or something like that. Funniest song. Watermelon Time? I don't remember the name of the artist anymore. I know his first name is Tom, and I know he's Welsh, but it's literally like a song that is like 2.5 minutes of him just saying watermelon, watermelon, watermelon for the entire time. And the video is actually him in a watermelon suit amongst the Welsh sheep running around the field. It's very funny. It's hilarious. Favorite song on the radio right now? Like I mentioned, I'm not really a radio listener. I don't really listen to anything that's super current. And so I'm not really in tune with what's hot and happening right now. So maybe I should just start listening to the radio more often. I don't know. My favorite album. Oh, I have so many. Let me go into my music app because I have some folders here. So I have Arcade Fire on here. Do I like, yeah, Reflector then. Reflector from Arcade Fire is one that I like. Dive is the Is-R. I really like Django. Django. I like, is it I As Hope I like better? Or Dance Fever? At least some Florence in the Machine. Interpol, the Other Side of Make Believe. London Grammar is always great. Odessa is on here. Radiohead and The Smile. I actually cut down a lot of the albums that were on here because I wasn't listening to them as much anymore. And The Smile, by the way, is like 2 members of Radiohead with somebody else on the drums. So, yeah, those are some things I really enjoy. Earbuds or headphones. I'm currently into earbuds because they're a little bit portable, but I always used to use headphones before that. Song that you like to sing. Oh, so many. My favorite song to sing, or at least the song that I used to really enjoy singing, but I can no longer do it because I'm just no longer trained. But when my voice was better trained, I really enjoyed Rent's Out Tonight. So the musical Rent and the song Out Tonight, I could actually sing that. And I'm a little bit jealous. I wish I could do it again. Band member or artist you respect the most. The artist I respect the most is FKA Twigs. The way she like creates her persona and like everything just comes together. I really enjoy that. Pandora or Spotify. Spotify. Favorite drummer. Again, like the guitar player, I don't really have one. Song that always cheers you up. And I instantly I always do this every winter. I will have a day somewhere in January where I play, I think it's just called Esperanza, the album by Manu Chao. And Manu Chao is an artist and he fuses French, Spanish, and like all these like sort of Southern American vibes into one giant thing. And I use that to beat the winter blues. That's the album. And I listen to the whole thing back to front and I'm happy. or front to back, I should say. Favorite Christmas song? I'm just not really a lover of Christmas music, but I like the old standards. Like if you give me like, you know, Frank Sinatra kind of things, then like those jazzy kind of Christmas songs, I do like those. But anything too modern, I just don't really like it. Favorite cover of a song? I actually like the cover of White Rabbit by Collide better than the original by Jefferson Airplane. So that could be one. The song you turn on full volume for. Peaches and Herbs. What's the name of the song? Get your groove thing. Yeah, yeah. Show 'em how we do now. Yeah, that one. That's the one that I have to dance. It's nearly 8 minutes long if you have the full version, and I love it. A bit of disco in your life. You just need it. Describe music in one word. Love? I just love it. Listen to music in the car. I don't own a car, so I can't answer that. Favorite hair band? Well, are they a hair band? They are from the same moment in time, but they're not really a hair band. But Journey would be like my favorite 80s rock band. Foreigner. I had a complete like 80s rock band moment. So, when I was a little younger, but those, like, I went for the milder things. Like, I wasn't into like White Snake or Def Leppard or those kind of things. I wasn't. Song you liked as a child. Reed Petite by, what's his name again? Jackie Wilson, of course. Who's got some really other great songs, but Reed Petite was one of my first ever favorite song that I remember liking. Favorite Halloween song? Are there Halloween songs? I didn't even know. Favorite rapper? So I do really enjoy some like hip-hop R&B kind of things, but I'm more on the R&B side than I really am on the rap side. So when it comes to rap, it's probably going to be someone like Kendrick Lamar. Like that's what I like. A song that calms you down. Anything London Grammar. Like London Grammar is my I need to take a breather. It's all very melancholy and a little bit sad perhaps, but I find it very relaxing to listen to their songs. And it's really anything by them because everything has like this very calm sort of vibe. I really love it. Favorite classic rock band? Deep Purple. A song that's stuck in your head. Not currently, but I was the person who, back in my early 20s, was stuck with Sheryl Crow's All I Wanna Do. All I wanna do is have some fun. That was stuck in my brain for 3 months. It was the biggest earworm. I couldn't get it out. I'm slightly traumatized from that experience. Favorite country artist or band? Rascal Flatts, but country isn't really a thing here where I live. Do you like concerts? I think I already mentioned that, but yes, I do. I really enjoy going to concerts. Have you ever met a band? Yes, several, not just Backstreet, also their opening acts. So yeah. Favorite TV show theme song? I don't really watch TV songs because they have TV shows because they have a good theme song. But I did really enjoy the True Blood one, if anybody remembers that. I really did enjoy that. Best song for when you're angry. I'm thinking something like 9 Inch Nails or something like that. Something like that. Yeah. Has music changed your life? No, it's just always been part of it, but my music tastes have changed throughout my life. Do you like to sing? Yes, I do. Favorite interview with a band? The only band really I've ever watched interviews by is Backstreet Boys, so it's one of theirs for sure. But I have so many still on DVD and like I have an entire folder with just like all of the interviews that I used to have on videotapes digitalized. I still have that somewhere on my hard drive. Do you listen to music while doing your homework? Well, I don't really have homework, but I definitely do listen to music if I get to work from home and I have tasks that I need to do on a computer. I definitely do listen to music. Any new music that you're excited for. Like I mentioned, I'm not really in tune with what's going on new within the music scene. My opinion on mosh pits, I won't take part of them, but you do you if you want to do them. I always think that it's great if the audience participates with what the artists are doing on the stage. A song that disgusts you. Like I said, I may not like it, but that doesn't mean that somebody else is not going to like it. So no, I don't find any songs disgusting or weird or anything like that. Who are your musical tastes influenced by? My parents, my brother, my friends, my family, people I know, but also just things that I find myself. I have definitely also been influenced by my local music store, because I used to go in there like once a week, and they knew who I was. And I'm like, you know what? I think you might like this. If this is what you're buying, maybe next time you should try this. So that was definitely what was happening. But back then, I was actually living in the same street as that music store. That was not a good thing for my bank account. The last song you sang. Oh, I usually am like listening or singing along to something, but I don't think I've really like sang anything in a while. Favorite song of all time. Ooh, something like Deep Purple, Child in Time is always the first thing that comes to the top of my head. Listen to music while reading, absolutely. I sometimes use the made for reading playlists on Spotify, but I really like the Not So Classical, which I think is one that Spotify made for me. I think it's one of the ones that they create based on your listening experiences on there. And then I also have some jazz playlists that I really like jazz in the background, those kind of things I like to listen to when I'm reading. Favorite record label? None? Maybe something like, what were they called? I actually have some of their samplers that they would put out to promote artists from back in the day. I don't remember what they're called, though. They were like a small indie label that was like promoting more like smaller bands. But none of the big ones anyways, I think. See, these are vinyls, both. I have both still in my collection. I mainly buy CDs because nowadays music is actually recorded digitally. So even though I really enjoy that we have this resurgence of vinyl going on, I tend to buy vinyl records secondhand from bands that recorded back in the day when the sound quality actually did matter, but nowadays music is recorded digitally, so it actually makes more sense from a quality standpoint to buy CDs. Just saying. You're not winning anything by buying it on vinyl if it's a current day artist. If you're buying the new Taylor Swift, it was recorded digitally, so getting it on vinyl isn't going to give you the layers that old vinyl actually has. Plus, the quality of vinyl has gone over time. I have a lot of the vinyl records that my parents bought in the 60s and the 70s, and they are very different in terms of the way they're pressed and how the vinyl lays compared to anything that I bought new. So back when vinyl became a thing, I tried to hop onto that bandwagon, but I don't think it's the same quality as it used to be. Any band posters? Nowhere in my house that you can still see, but I still have all my Backstreet Boys posters from way back in the day. And if there's anything that came with a CD or a vinyl that I've purchased, I still have those, but they're with the CD or vinyl that I purchased. Song you listen to on repeat? I don't tend to listen to songs on repeat anymore. Like I mentioned, I'm more of a playlist kind of girl where I just put it on shuffle and it's either something I've curated myself or it's something that I find on Spotify. Cringe-worthy band you used to like? Backstreet Boys. They're definitely a bit cringe by now, but I still hold them very near and dear to my heart. Do you like the live recording of a song or the studio recording better? Depends on the song. I sometimes like a live song. Like there are artists who I have in my arsenal, something like Curtis Mayfield, who only has like his best work was live. So I have a couple of albums that were recorded live and I like that. Like a lot of jazz artists as well, like studio recordings just weren't quite a thing. So a lot of that was recorded live and you have the audience participation there. But I think that with some things, the studio recording is just better. It really depends on the music and what it actually is. Gotten an autograph from a band or an artist? Yes, I have all the signatures of all the Backstreet Boys. Try to get your friend to like a certain band all the time. I'm always influencing people to listen to things. At least I used to. Right now, I've calmed down over the years. Have you ever sang in public? Yes, I used to take singing classes. I sang in a choir. I sang with people, and it was amplified by a microphone as well. Listen to music when you're stressed. Yes, I have a relax playlist just for that purpose. Favorite song that uses sampling. I actually follow some music accounts on TikTok, and one of them actually figures out all the samples that were used. And I think that there's a lot more sampling going on than we might actually think. But any Prodigy song is pretty much a mash of samples. So anything by the Prodigy, especially if it's their early stuff, yeah. An album you regret buying. I once bought an Eminem album and returned it. It's the only album I ever remember returning, actually. So, yeah. Opinion on crowd surfing. Fun? If it's you, I do not tend to be in that area of the crowd where people actually crowd surf. Have you ever played piano? Not necessarily piano, but I played organ and keyboard for like a little while there. But yeah, I did. I never took lessons. I just tried to figure it out myself. Have you ever dreamed about being in a band? Yeah. Who doesn't? I think everybody like dreams of being a pop star or like being up on stage. Have you ever been a stage 5 fangirl? Yes. I'm not sure what they mean here with a stage 5 fangirl, but I was into it. Backstreet Boys it was a thing. It was a thing. I was like moderator on some of the message boards that we used to like meet other fans, and I spend a whole lot of money back in the day on going to all of the shows. Like I would do like 6, 7, or 8 shows in a given tour, just in Europe, and then I would go and do some in the States as well. Very often I was going on vacation there anyway. Like I didn't purposely like travel to the United States to see Backstreet, but I definitely did travel around Europe to see them. I did. Sing in the shower. Yes. Newest song you like, Back on 74 by Jungle. It's been on repeat and it was released this summer. Song that scares you. I used to be afraid of the Living Dolls song, the Cliff Richard and the Young Ones version. That scared me, and Thriller by Michael Jackson, but it was mainly because of the videos, not the song itself. Do you like to discover new bands? Yes, so if you do have any recommendations for me, I would love to know. I love listening to new stuff. Do you know how to read music? Yes, I do have basic music reading skills, which is why I was able to teach myself like basic keyboard, piano, organ playing skills and a bit of guitar over time, but I'm no good. I've never advanced beyond like just strumming and not really doing much. Most attractive band member. I think we already had this question before. Best guitar solo. Oh, I just don't really listen to, like, maybe something like Fuse. Maybe their song, what's that called again that I love? I'm completely blanking, as you can tell. This is why I never look up who I like listen to and what. Ill, that's the name of the song. So Fuse Ill has a really nice instrumental part. I'm not really sure it's a guitar solo, and if not, then just listen to And So I Watch You From Afar. They are an instrumental rock band from Ireland, and their songs are pretty much one giant guitar solo. Saw them live finally in May. They have been on my wish list for years. Instrument you want to play. I would love to be able to play the guitar a lot better than I do. Listen to music while in the shower. I actually did. For a while there, I had a little speaker that attaches to your like shower rod, and you can hang it up and it's like waterproof, but the Bluetooth is completely off, and it started picking up, I think, the Bluetooth from my neighbors, and it started to play not my music, but theirs, which was interesting. The oldest song you like? I actually did do a little bit of a deep dive into like some like 1920s music back when I was watching, what's it called? Boardwalk Empire, the HBO series with Steve Buscemi. But as I've already mentioned, that I really do enjoy some jazz music, and that I dance Lindy Hop and vernacular jazz, and part of that is digging around in the history and listening to the actual music from the time period. So yeah, I do listen to quite a bit of 1930s and 1940s jazz. So I'm never entirely sure like how old things actually are though, but I do listen to a good deal of like, you know, your old jazz classics that I do listen to. So yeah, something from like the 1930s is probably the oldest I actively listen to. Best acoustic song, I had a folk singer-songwriter moment there, so anything Bobby Long, Johnny Flynn, Marcus Foster, Laura Marling kind of vibes, and I'm good. Does your life revolve around music? It used to, but I do not currently have the time anymore. I'm just far too busy. Also with making videos. I think that definitely in recent years, making videos is the thing that has taken the place of what music and like me listening to music used to be. So that's where I'm coming from with this video. Thank you so very much for watching me. Let me know in a comment down below what your answers are going to be. I would love to know. Let me know any recommendations that you might have, and I'll pop some links down below for like some songs that I mentioned and like playlists with all of my favorites. Then you get a better grasp of what I actually like. So thank you so very much for being here today. I really hope you enjoyed watching this. Thumbs up the video. I will be back next week with a new video. Bye bye.